Last part of the packet consists of domain and range. So the first problem is f of x is equal to 2x minus 5. F of x is equal to 2x minus 5. So we need to find the domain. Here, let's find the domain and range. Here, we don't, there's no situation where we divide by 0. We divide by 0. Can we take the square root of a negative number? And can we take the logarithm of 0 or the logarithm of a negative number? Is there any situation where this is possible? Is there a situation where this is possible? No. No, there is not. So the domain is all real numbers, and the range is also going to be all real numbers. So the domain here is all real numbers, and the range is also all real numbers. And this is because from the very beginning of the year, but parent functions, we got to know the range of a line, because this is a line. Okay, 79. 5x squared minus 8x plus 12. The correct way to do this here is going to be, we're going to have to use a calculator. The best way to do this is to complete the square. So this is a parabola. All right. This is a parabola, and all parabolas have a domain, unless it's horizontal. All vertical parabolas have a domain of negative infinity to infinity. You're not dividing by 0. You're not taking the square root of a negative. You're not taking the logarithm of 0 or negative. And for the range, we can find the vertex. So to find the vertex of the parabola, to find a vertex, we find the, I know this is going to open up. So with our vertex, our parabola is going to open up, so we're going to have to use our calculator to find our minimum value. So our vertex is, with our calculator, our function, 5x squared minus 8x plus 12. Second, calc. Minimum. Oh, let me change my zoom to zoom standard. Zoom standard. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Let's change my window from my x-min is going to be -5, my x-max is going to be 5, my y-min is going to be 0, and my y-max is going to be 30. Let's see if that's a better graph. Alright, that's a much better graph. So I'm going to find my minimum, find my left bound point. Oh, looks like that canceled. Well, I can do this again. Find my left bound point, my right bound point, and then best guess. So my minimum is going to be x is 0.8, y is 8.8. So the vertex is at 0.8, 8.8. So the vertex is going to be from 8.8 to infinity. That is the range. Alright, so that's, let me change the thickness, go back to black, and keep moving forward. For 80, we have the domain and range of x over 5 over x minus 2. Alright, for the domain, we can't have the denominator equal to 0. So for the domain, we must know that x minus 2 cannot equal 0, which means x cannot equal 2. And because of that, we will have f of x is equal to x minus 5 over x minus 2. So when x cannot equal 2, we can have the domain will be from negative infinity to 2 to infinity. Now for the range, I believe that graphing this might give you guys some better insights, so I am going to graph the function. I'll give you guys x minus 5 divided by x minus 2. And go to my mode, or let me go to my window, zoom out. Alright, so notice this is a rational function, okay? And we're going to have a rational function in all places except for when x is equal to, except for the point where we have our horizontal asymptote. Okay. And what I'd like to emphasize here is this is going to be when we're approaching 2. So to look at our horizontal asymptote, we can just look at our table set, or table start be, I don't know, 5,000. So check our asymptote. So we're going to have an asymptote at 1, which makes sense. So we're going to have all values. We're going to have all values except for 1 here. And this is because we're not going to actually be able to have a value of 1, but we're going to be able to get close to it. So the range should be from 0 to negative 1, 0 to negative infinity to 1, and 1 to infinity. That the range is from negative infinity to 1, and then 1 to infinity. Alright, Last problem. 81. F of x is equal to 2 to the x, so defined to the domain and range. This is just more of, can you graph and interpret? Can you graph and interpret do you understand the properties of exponential functions? All right, because if you do, you should know that with an exponential function that looks like this, domain is from negative infinity to infinity, and the range is from 0 to infinity. All right, so maybe the end tell me something I don't know about you. All right, well, I'll tell you something. Okay, you don't know is that when I was born, when Mr. Lal was born, his right arm did not work. And so I needed physical therapy to establish nerve endings in my shoulder. Endings in my shoulder. And use of my right arm. Best of luck on next week's test, and good hunting.